What are your favorite TV shows from the 1990s? I'm Oatmeal, this is my bowl, and here are my top 10 TV shows from the 1990s. Number 10, Arthur. And also like Wishbone and a lot of shows from PBS, the Public Broadcasting Channel station, for educational purposes. Uh, there's a lot of other cartoons or other shows that didn't really make the list, like The Simpsons and The King of the Hill. Really like Arthur because like you would see some kind of story, you would see some kind of problem in the point of view of a kid, which is really rare for a lot of shows, and you see them solve the problem by the end of the episode. An episode is about 15 minutes, and there was two of those stories in each half an hour or so, and just really interesting to see. There's a lot of other shows on there too on PBS, like Barney and Sesame Street and Lamb Chop, and they're interesting too. But Arthur was a cartoon that was really inspirational since it starred an aardvark with glasses who was like about 10 years old, and I was about 10 years old at the time, so like I could relate to him. Number 9, Step by Step, because mostly because of the intro song, step by step, day by, and then like you see people eating, like you see somebody eating ice cream, and you see a roller coaster. I really love ice cream, and I like roller coasters too, but I get a little scared sometimes. And the stories are really interesting. I remember one time the father said, hey, you guys need to stop eating. I spend like $800 a week on you guys. You eat too much. And I remember my mom saying like, nobody can eat that much food in 1 week. $800 worth of food you must buy, not from Walmart. Number 8, Boy Meets World. Mostly because like you see the love relationship between the star, the guy, and the girl, and like there's a lot of comedy in it, especially from the neighbor who's also their like teacher or principal, and like he has an older father, an older brother who gets into trouble, and he has a best friend and a girlfriend, and it's just I know it's about kids who are like only a couple years older than me at the time, and it's just really interesting to see what are they gonna do next, and it was some kind of like a little bit of a drama, but mostly comedy, but it was really interesting. Number 7, Family Matter, mostly because of Steve Urkel, who can become Stefan because he's like Steve Urkel's really smart, and he's black, and he's wear glasses, and he says, "Did I do that?" And he falls over, and he says, "I'm falling, and I can't get up." And he comes up with a way to turn himself into a really perfect guy and to fall in love with the girl. But then the girl says, "I like you for who you are, not for Stefan." So you learn a lot about, as me, I wear glasses, so I relate to him. I relate to anybody with glasses like Harry Potter and Austin Powers and Power Rangers, Billy, and the Turtles, and anybody. I can relate to anybody, but mostly people with glasses. So I feel like, oh man, I want to get the girls too, but maybe I'm a nerd, so I can't. But then you learn from Family Matters that you can still get a girl, and you don't need to be Stefan to get the girl. Number 6, Home Improvement, because you get to look at the father who's trying to care for his family, and somehow he's able to, care for his family, but at the same time he tries to do a lot of things because, he tries to, build hot rods, which is like his cars, and like all these things to help people, like tools for men, because men love tools. Ha ha ha, he would always say. I don't know how to do that exactly, like a caveman gunk. And number 5, Full House, not just because of the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen twins, but also because of like, you have like 3 fathers in a way. Danny Tanner, and you got a Jesse who sings, and he's kind of like Elvis, and then you have Joey, my name, Joey, who's a comedian. And there's a lot of different adventures that you really like to see in Full House. Number 4, Square One. It was like an educational show on PBS, and also like Bill Nye the Science Guy that I would watch. And Square One was on around 93 when I was about 8, and then there was also Bill Nye that came on like around 96, at least in 96, and was really, really interesting to, like, you know, watch something that you can learn from, and just the way they present, you know, you see for the first time that, like, learning can be fun. It doesn't have to be boring. Number 3, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the cartoons, and also later it was on Fox as an live action show. But the cartoon version of the show is what I like the most. And, you know, they love pizza, and you can see that in the 3 original movies, too. And it's just really, you know, kind of inspiring, and a lot of fun, kind of. And my favorite turtle was Donatello, I think, because he was able to make inventions, kind of like Billy, the Power Ranger. Number 2, Star Trek Voyager. Even though, you know, I started watching Star Trek The Next Generation around 91, 92, and I would wait for my father to come home on Saturday nights, like around 7 p.m., and at least one time I remember that, and I would listen to the intro to the Star Trek Next Generation song. Dun dun no wait, that's Back in the Future. But I really like the intro, and I wouldn't really understand, you know, I wouldn't understand what's happening in the show, so I only watched the show a little, but I actually started understanding Voyager because it came out in like around 94 when I was about 9, so I'd actually understand that a little bit more and actually watch the whole entire show each week around like Tuesday or Wednesday night. I think it was like Wednesday night. Like one time it was on like 8 p.m. and then most of the time it was on like 9 p.m. and that was really good because I would come home from Awanas. And I would really want to, you know, watch the show. They also had another show on around the same time on a Wednesday night called Nowhere Man, and that was really interesting too. Number 1, Power Rangers, which I started watching in 93 when I was about 8 years old, and I've always wanted to be a Power Ranger, and I was able to make a Power Ranger movie with my family and friends in 96 before I turned 11 years old, and it was really interesting, and just the idea that teenagers can save the day if they're given enough power, that is. I mean, even without the power, sometimes they save the day, and you know, I really like them because they're teenagers, so I can relate to them, and they're fighting and they're saving the day, making the world a better place, which is what I want to do. I want to make the world a better place. But mostly, what's really exciting about the Power Rangers is the music. It inspires you. Go, go, Power Rangers! Da na 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 na. Go, go, Power Rangers! Da 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 da. Dum 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 da da. Dun, 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 dun. Go, go, Power Rangers. You Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, come fight. And Billy is one of my favorite Rangers because he's smart. But then Tommy came, and he was the Green Ranger, and the White Ranger, and the Red Ranger, and the Gold Ranger, and then all these other, like, Black Ranger, the Dino version, and he just kept on coming back for more. A lot of anniversary versions, and just at least one other season many years later, and he might be in a new movie soon. Tommy Oliver, he might be in a new movie coming up, I don't know, maybe in 2015, and it'll be like a PC-13 movie of the Green Ranger. Maybe that will happen, who knows, but there's a lot of TV shows that I would watch, and sometimes I wouldn't really understand what was going on, but I would listen to them, but I wouldn't really understand what they were saying. Kind of like if you're in Vietnam and people listen to you and they know a little bit of English, but they listen to you, but they don't really understand what you're saying. I was kind of like that, at least until I was about 12 or 14 years old, and then I started getting better and I started understanding things a lot better. And I have it all thanks to watching TV shows. I guess it helped my ears develop and tune in to the music. Keep the music flowing. Don't stop the music, says Madonna. So what are your favorite TV shows from the 1990s? And what do you think about my videos? Let me know. Okay? Or I will do an anaconda on you and eat you like a snake. Blah, blah, okay?